Ciao ragazzi, Bruno here for Interworldwide, joined with Anthony.
How good?
How good is it? Salute!
Salute! Siamo il champions! Forza Inter Worldwide. Oh, it's so good to be here, brother.
And what a season it's been.
PAZZA Inter.
Now, before we get into it, this is our season review of Inter throughout the season, and we're just going to be raw, emotional, stressed. Just before we get into it, after that Empoli game, I was grey. I lost sight.
Yep.
My heart was pounding.
Yep.
I aged. I've had to colour my hair for this video. It's ridiculous.
Well, guys, we've got a really good show lined up for you tonight. We're going to do a season review, probably focusing more on the back end. If you haven't checked out our mid-season review, I'm not even going to tell you to go check it out now because who wants to go relive the past of the season where we can just focus on the now and the when. And siamo il champions, ragazzi. We're going back to the Champions League. So let's focus on that first and foremost.
So, last time we did one of these reviews, we had come off a win against Napoli.
That's
we
right.
had come off a win against Empoli.
I think it was Empoli first.
Napoli, then Empoli.
Napoli, then Empoli. I remember your exact words, December curse broken.
Yeah.
What we didn't realize is that the curse of February was going to come down hard on us, bro.
And we were pretty optimistic. Like, we didn't expect it to be as tight as what it was when it comes back end of the season. But in saying that, there has been drama.
Lots of it.
Icardi.
Oh, man.
Well, I wouldn't say Icardi drama, a Wanda drama.
Oh, so much.
And my dog's pretty interested too, so
That's
she's
right.
joined us as well. But yeah, there was the Wanda drama. There was the drama of Europa League.
All this happening in the back end of the season.
And we got knocked out of Coppa, and we dropped into our fourth place after holding third. The Derby victory. There is so much to go through, and let's just get straight into it.
Let's do it.
Our first game of the 2019 season was against Benevento.
Benevento.
In the Coppa, and we won 6-0?
6-1 or 6-2?
6-1 or 6-2, yeah.
Oh, man, I think it was 6-2. I think Benevento got a couple of cheap goals. That was the goal where our boy Dalbert slammed one in on the left-hand side. Don't worry, bro. We'll get to Dalbert a little bit later.
Yeah, and then we, unfortunately, our Coppa came to an end against Lazio on penalties.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. But in saying that, I think that worked in our favour come towards the back end of the season.
I think it did too.
Then we faced Rapid Vienna in the Europa League. We got through comfortably.
Poor first leg. We scored a penalty. I think it was it Brozovic who scored the penalty?
Brozovic.
Yeah, he did. Lautaro goes down on the end of the box. We go up 1-0 on aggregate. We go into the second leg, and I think we drew it 0-0.
No,
we won. We won the second leg. So it was 2-0 on aggregate against Rapid Vienna, but I don't remember Bruno celebrating. I definitely wasn't celebrating. And if you were celebrating a round of 32 progression in the Europa League, you were ready to eat your words via Frankfurt, yeah?
Yes, and then that beautiful... Frankfurt were the underdogs. They were absolutely destroying the Europa League, and we faced them, and we drew 0-0.
You always have that underdog team in the European competitions that always prove by the end of the tournament they were never actually the underdog team to begin with. They were very well oiled and equipped for the season, and I don't think anybody saw the potential of Luka Jovic at the start of the season. His first name Luka? I don't know if I got that right. Jovic. Well, anyway, he's a superstar, and he's probably on his way to Madrid or somewhere bigger, and good for him. So we bow out of the Europa League.
We caught up the day of the
morning
Europa
of,
League, and that we were
upset, we were aggravated, but something in the back of our heads was telling us just to forget about it. And I'm really happy as well because had we had Europa League fixtures compiled with the rest of our season after the whole Wanda drama, how the hell could have we incorporated European football on a Thursday night as well to this shit show that ended our season, man?
Yeah, and you know what? I said there and then, bowing out of Europa was the best thing for Inter. Obviously, we can't compete in multiple competitions under Spalletti.
Nah.
Because the guy, he's got he's one-dimensional. One-dimensional. He plays the same formation, same players, and it took him 16 games to bench Perisic from the beginning. Like he did not have he does not have the capacity to do that. In saying that, we got a new captain.
Wow. Oh, boy, did we. So the news when we were going to Europa, Mauro Icardi refused to travel with the team. And we know now he definitely faked that injury. We know that definitely was not legit. But let's move away from the Europa League. It was done. It was dusted. We were never really interested to begin with unless you can really crack the semi-finals or the final. And then the objective of making the Champions League becomes a reality. We had our proper cohesive unit ready to qualify via domesticated football. But it was a struggle.
So, we lost against, we drew our first Serie A match back against Sassuolo. We lost against Torino.
Lost against Bologna.
We lost against Bologna.
That was bad.
And then Parma, we barely won.
Martinez scored in the 78th minute. Icardi started that match, and yeah, there was a lot of talk whether he was match fit, whether he was mentally ready for the match, and I guess he wasn't because he missed a couple of good chances that match, and in comes El Toro to whack it home with a great finish inside the area.
Yeah, and then we faced Fiorentina where we drew 3-3.
Man, that was the low point for me of the season. That was the most Inter moment of the season. Yeah, the call was horrible by the refs, but the way that VAR and the way that the handball is moving, you're going to see more of that stuff in the Serie A next season. As soon as the ball makes contact with that arm area, providing that the player is interfering with the ball in the box on its trajectory to the goal, there's going to be a penalty given almost every single time now.
And you know what? Not just that. With VAR coming out in all the leagues as of next season, the Premier League and everything, they're going to have a more structured... The Serie A can't do something that Premier League's not doing. It's got to be very consistent.
It's going to be in the Champions League now as well, so there has to be a consistent
There's
level.
going to be a much more consistent, and against Empoli, VAR there. But we will get to that. We'll get to that. Now, Fiorentina, they had more draws than they had losses and wins combined, basically. I think they finished the season on 17 draws. And
still fighting for relegation on the last day.
The start of the season, they were a threat. And the start of the season, we beat Fiorentina.
Yeah.
And that was our 8-game win streak.
Yeah, we started with Fiorentina and then went on to Sampdoria. And I remember someone online, I think it was PAZZA Inter Forum, saying these were two really important victories. Because at the time, we felt like Fiorentina and Sampdoria were two teams that had been niggling around that 6th, 7th position. Wasn't to be. They both didn't do that well in the end, apart from, of course, Quagliarella. Do you want to give him a quick shout-out first?
Oh, look.
How old was he this season?
36, 38.
Goodness me. Bravo. Grande Fabio Quagliarella.
When he, actually, fun fact, when he first started for Italy, in his, or Serie A, Donnarumma was 2 years old. Moise Kean from Juventus
wasn't born. So the most exciting striker, the most exciting young striker in the league, Moise Kean, wasn't even born yet. There you go.
Then we lost 2-1 to Cagliari.
That was another low point for me in the season because that was a game that I watched from start to finish, and it was one of those Inter performances where, like, you know, even before they walk out of the tunnel that they're not asked for it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
And it was at this point, that third spot we were holding on to, we dropped to 4th. Milan crept up on us. You had Roma right behind us. Lazio at that point were on our tail. It was neck and neck.
Yeah,
and it was at that point I said, here we go.
Yeah.
We waited a couple of months. We had a bit of a couple of months delay than what we did last season. But here it goes. We're going to be going down that table.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the point of return.
Yeah.
Then we faced Spal.
Spal.
That was 2 points we got. 3 points we got in that 2-0 win.
Did Keita Balde score in that game?
I think he did.
I've drawn a blank, guys. I can't remember who grabbed the goals against Spal, to be honest. I think Keita Balde might have grabbed one. I think maybe Politano grabbed one as well.
I think so.
That one I can't remember, and I apologise. But I showed
the next game was one where if we won, we moved back up to 3rd. But if we won, we were going to be beating Milan in the Derby della Madonnina for the 2nd time in the season.
We did the double over Milan, and that was probably the best point of the season. Being able to stand back now and say, we did the double over our cross.
But you know what? Not just that. What the double over Milan did for Inter was, if we were tied on points at the end of the season, we had the benefit over them. But because Atalanta were tied, Inter would have been knocked out. So let's get down to the table as we proceed.
Yeah.
We faced Lazio. I remember when I said this.
Yeah.
I remember after the derby, I said to you, we're going on international break, and we had this amazing momentum. Icardi was back.
Yep.
He brought he didn't bring anything extra to the team, but what he brought was maturity compared to a lot of the other players.
Yeah.
And it was something that Skriniar has shown very well this season.
He'll be the future captain.
Our new captain, which at the start of the season, if you asked Anthony, was our worst player, Handanovic. He was that other side of maturity. Perisic last season would have been, but no. So we faced Lazio, critical 3 points, and we're at home. I remember writing the preview, and I said, we've got this in the bag. We beat them 3-0 in their backyard. They're coming to play us.
It was a bad game.
It was horrendous.
It was a really bad game. Moving on from that one, I'll cover the next few. The Genoa game was especially important to me because it was at the time where Mauro, I don't think played in the Lazio fixture, man. We'll have to quote each other on that. I'm not too sure, but the fact that Genoa was so hyped up as Mauro returning to the starting lineup was a big thing. And in that game, there were a lot of tension and a lot of talks between the fans. Are they going to be able to communicate? Are we going to work harmoniously with the Perisic and Icardi? I found this match pretty humorous because they were trying really, really hard to like each other in this match. You had the penalty that was awarded, and I think in a moment of sheer... I don't know what it was. Perisic goes up to Icardi. See, Perisic is kind of clever, man. He's got that sneaky little Eastern European mentality in him. And you know what? He goes to Mauro. Can I take the penalty? Sure. What's Mauro going to say? No on the spot in front of all those fans. He's already in hot water. Ivan knocks it away. Mauro returns the favour.
No, Icardi took the penalty that game.
No, against who?
Genoa.
Oh, you're right. I thought Perisic asked for the penalty in that game.
No, he took the penalty in another game. But now we've got the scorers up as well, so we can be much more... Well,
look, regardless, my favourite part of the Genoa match was when Mauro receives the ball just outside the 18-yard box and places that nice little ball through to Perisic and he grabs a goal and they finally do the little hug afterwards and everyone thinks that we're back to harmonious living. But, and this is what Bruno was getting at before, Wanda just can't stop yapping, mate. It was looking like it was all right. You know, we scored 4 goals against Genoa away. That's a 9-0 aggregate scoreline. 5-0 at the Miazza. 4-0 in Genoa. You think it might rally the boys up again?
Well, look, it did rally them up.
It did, but just more online drama followed after that. I think it was the Atalanta game.
We went on a 7-game
undefeated
streak.
But we did draw the 0-0 to Atalanta.
But we won 1, 2, 3. Out of those 7 games, we won 3, drew 4.
See, that's still not that good.
That 0-0 to Atalanta, I'm sorry, but if you came to me at the start of the season and said, would you be happy with a 0-0 draw at the against Atalanta at home? What would you say?
At home, no.
No. But if we asked that same question the day of the game,
look, the day of the game we were very happy because we were still ahead of Atalanta and a draw kept us in that 3rd position. But looking back on it now, it was just another match. It was just another game where we looked at Spalletti and said, go for it. What do you have to lose? We are Inter. We're trying to get into the Champions League. Why? Why, man? Go for it.
Now, the next game is the Perisic penalty against Frosinone.
That's the one, man.
Right? Now, Nainggolan scored that first goal.
Yep.
And then the penalty happened and Perisic went up to Icardi and Icardi's like, go.
Go for it.
Because a lot of the talk was there was disharmony between the players and Icardi. And I think, personally, I think it was a show.
Yeah.
Him giving him that penalty, I think it was a show to just show, look, we are a team because of what everyone was saying.
Yep, pretty much. Just trying to prove him wrong. That's all right.
So, that was that game there. Now, my favourite player, who always steps up, scored that 90th minute goal, Vecino.
Dr. Clutch himself.
But we will come back to Vecino later on. Our next game was against Roma.
Another game where 3 points would have consolidated the Champions League. I remember this video perfectly. The match preview. It was match point number 1. Now, it might sound a little bit crazy to think, oh, how could have we had match point number 1 on match day 38, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3? How could have we had match point on match day 33? I'll tell you how. 3 points against Roma would have put us about 9 points ahead of them with the still advantage of head-to-head if we finished equal with them and Milan. So all the directions were there, all the signs were there to win against Roma. And what do we do again?
We go to Juventus. We face Juventus.
We face Juventus. And you know what? Another game at home. So yeah, maybe the morning of Atalanta, would I take a 0 or draw? Yeah. The game against Roma? Yeah. The game against Juve? Yeah. But when you add all those up, that's 3 points out of 9, bro. That's not good enough. Not at home. Not at the Miazza.
And then we faced Udinese.
Yeah, that was another bad game.
And if we got 3 points against Udinese,
done.
We would have been well in front. And I remember us saying we needed those 3 points.
Yep.
And we could not drop points because it was at this point Roma were right there, Milan were right there, Atalanta were right there.
Yep.
Atalanta wasn't there yet, but Torino was flying up that ladder out of nowhere. I remember we said to each other,
watch out for Torino.
Where
did they come from? Yeah.
And then Kiev, last place. The Flying Donkeys.
How we were shitting it from this game, bro.
We were because you know what? First half of the season, we got the draw.
They scored in the last second.
But still.
But it was the most typical Inter match of the season. It went all the way through to the last second and then defensive lapse and they chipped it over.
Now, I always said that the Napoli-Inter game was going to be a massive game for Inter.
Titled match point number 2 on our YouTube account as well.
And I said that because everyone's saying Napoli secured second. They've got nothing to play for. They're not playing well. But I always said what happened in that first game, the way Inter won that first game, the racism, the red cards, and the drama that erupted, Napoli weren't going to let this be flexible with us. And they showed us why. They're 10 points ahead of us on the table.
Remember, so many people at the start of the season said that they'd drop off, said that they wouldn't do as well. Yeah, they didn't finish as close to Juventus as Sarri did. But let's be honest, did anyone at any point in the season look like taking Napoli's second spot?
Nah.
Not at all. Ancelotti protected that. And, he's a great coach. He's still one of the best managers of all time for me.
100%.
And a lot of people at the start of the season were saying, I think I even said it once or twice too, Ancelotti hasn't coached in the Peninsula for almost a decade. Can he really come back to Italy and take this Napoli team who's thriving on confidence by the scruff of the neck? I think he's done an all right job. Some people are disappointed thinking he could have done a bit more. First season at the club. Watch him next season. He's a genius.
100%. And they're going to have a lot more players moving in and out now with...
A couple of rumours of the Atalanta boys might be going to...
Zapata
Napoli.
was a big...
Ilicic as well.
Yeah, Zapata was big on that too. But the last game... 2-1.
Oh, here we go.
Empoli Inter, yes, we did the job. But I said in the Empoli preview, and I said to everyone, mark my words, final score will be 2-1. We will be shitting ourselves.
He did.
And it will be the most Inter performance anyone could ever ask for because Inter don't like to do things the easy way. They've never liked to do things the easy way. And it was just... The first half, I think there was nothing in it, right? And the Fry had that header. And we should have went up there.
Yep.
And Dragowski,
what a game
all
he
credit
had.
to him. It just felt every shot that Inter took, he was always going to stop.
Every keeper turns into prime Buffon when they play Inter. We know this.
Well, it's a swallow.
Yeah.
But then... call it a strike of genius, but Spalletti bringing on Balde.
Probably the best managerial decision he made all season. And someone needs to wonder why he didn't bring Keita on more regularly throughout the season to play that more attacking, lying role. But
then again, he did replace Asamoah, who by far, if we paid a cent for that guy...
Yeah.
I would be going in line for a refund. Thank God we got him for free.
I'm going to have to disagree, bro. I think he was okay. I think he was pretty good a lot of the time domestically when we were playing Serie A. He held down the left-back position quite well. It was when we played really good attacking teams that we saw him break down because he does like to elevate himself a little bit up into a left wing-back role. Every time he was caught out, it was by a superior team with superior counter-attacking intuitive. He got done.
Look, there are two sides to the Asamoah coin. Really good or really bad.
But I've said before, he's a temporary solution to what seems like a permanent problem for us, and that problem is fullbacks. Now, Asamoah is an upgrade from Dalbert. He's an upgrade from Nagatomo, but the bloke's just entering his 30s. Are we going to be able to bank on Asamoah as a left back for 2-3 more years? I'm not too sure I can have him playing regularly this season coming up, 19-20. I don't know.
Then Inter, we had the chance to go, was it 2-0 up?
Oh, the Mauro penalty.
Now, I can't argue with Mauro in this instance. It was a penalty. He's done so well at the spot for us so many times. He can miss. And especially in games so important, he can miss.
Just the penalty was trash, but man.
Look, it was one of his worst ones. But I do remember at halftime, we were sitting fifth on that table. Milan were winning. Atalanta, I don't know what happened there, but they were on fire against the Sassuolo. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of those seasons where we're not going to be talking about anything for a long time.
We're going to go into hiding.
Inter Worldwide was going to go on a permanent blackout until we won a couple of games. But 1-1, they struck.
The ladder changed so many times on the last day, and I don't know, it was just so emotional. It was such a ride. And for anyone who saw our videos and stuff, we're waking up at 4:30 in the AM to watch these games this season. And it's just emotionally draining to the point of no return. So, but a couple of times this season, what happened in the Empoli game, when we have conceded a goal, we have been able to dig a little deeper to find that rhythm to get back into it. Against Sampdoria, the second time we played them and beat them 2-1, we were head and shoulders the better team. We just couldn't put that ball in the back of the net. We went 1-0 up, and then Sampdoria equalised. And I just remember thinking, that is such a shot in the guts. I got up to take a piss. I came back, and we were 2-1 up via who? Pretty sure it was Nainggolan. D'Ambrosio scores the first goal at the far post. Nainggolan scores the second. We win 2-1. Same with the Empoli match. Nainggolan comes up clutch again.
No.
But
Vecino comes up clutch.
What about that clock, G?
Vecino. Now, Vecino, I've always said, is a player that will pop up and be there at the right spot at the right time. He's a shit player. He is a shit player. But his mentality when the points are needed, his mentality just changes. And he's one of the only players that I have to ensure we get those 3 points.
I'd be more than happy to have him as a bench player next season to come in and do that hustle.
Last game to get us into Champions League. What did he do?
Oh, there you go.
Milan.
Yeah,
what did he do?
The Milan goal.
Tottenham.
What
did he do?
Well,
he has done it. But Nainggolan was there, composed. And I think towards the end of this season, Nainggolan showed us what we paid so much for.
100%. He's virtually redeemed his value just by scoring that goal and getting us into the Champions League.
Now, we won 2-1, but what the fuck was Balde thinking?
Oh, the Balde pullback. Man, what did he think that the keeper, Dragovski, is that his name, Dragovski?
Yeah.
Was he going to catch him? He was about 20 yards
Who did
behind
you think
Brozovic.
he was? Usain Bolt.
Man,
Brozovic had the gap. Now, Brozovic was either going to make that long distance shot
or get it into the corner flag somewhere around there.
Yeah, or a throw in for
Something
all we
like
know,
that, yeah.
right? But when the goalkeeper's so far away, I just think that one stupid moment right there,
It almost cost us,
right?
bro.
He's on a yellow. That one stupid moment right there is enough for me to say I don't want to redeem him. One, he's too expensive, but two, I do not want him in our team next season because you know what? He sent us down to 10 men. Yeah, there was 2 minutes to go. They hit the post. They were attacking. And Inter just lost all composure.
I'm going to eat my words again. I've had to eat my words twice this season for 2 players. The first one is Handanovic. Let me just say, I never said he was the shittest player in my
You
team.
just didn't.
I thought he was on the decline, right? He's hitting his 30s. His reflexes didn't look that great. I thought, just naturally, this is a goalkeeper on a steady decline. Now, the rest of the boys at Inter Worldwide are like, oh, Anthony thinks Handanovic is shit. But you know what? He was the best goalkeeper in Serie A. He's still got the best reflex ability. And I wouldn't swap him for any goalkeeper. So there's the first eating of my words. Second eating before we move into player stats. Can you guess who it is? You don't like him that much either. But he had a fantastic season. Stats will tell us that.
I'm going to say Poli.
Poli was great. D'Ambrosio had a fantastic
D'Ambrosio.
season. I've been his biggest critic, but you know what? I'll still say on camera right now, he is not the right back for us if you think we should be beating teams like Barcelona, competing against Atletico, competing against Bayern, anyone in the Prem, anyone at all. We need better fullbacks, or else we're going to be stuck with fullbacks that have good performances against Chievo, against Bologna, against Cagliari, against anybody. And then it comes down to the bigger teams and they get found out.
But D'Ambrosio, salute.
Salute.
That was you saved us in that those final minutes. And
what a man.
Got to give you credit.
Anyway, before we move on to player stats, we just need to congratulate the Inter boys and us here. We are in the Champions League and we look forward to bringing you that elite competition format content next season. Just to finish it off, we are in pot 3, not 4. We were in pot 4 last season. We'll be in pot 3. Just on the down low, it's not going to make it any easier, bro.
No.
Pot 3, pot 4, it's virtually the same thing.
But not just that, you're in Champions League. You're playing the best of the best. And
who do you expect to come up against?
If you can't beat the best of the best, you don't deserve to be there. And
we had to do it in the past. It's not like it's changed now.
No, and look, I just got to say congratulations to Spalletti. Look, I have been a massive critic of you, and I will always be a massive critic of you. You came to Inter with one job, and he did that marvellously.
He did do that marvelously.
He did that absolutely spectacularly. No, in spectacular fashion. Not spectacularly because, look, let's just say it. If rules didn't change, Inter wouldn't have made Champions League last 2 seasons.
We got the top 4 there.
We got 4th and 4th, right?
Thanks to those who will not be named.
Yes.
Grazie.
But, but he got us into Champions League. He hasn't got the mentality to win it. But thank you, Spalletti. Hope and wish you all the best in the future.
Because he is leaving, and we just need to give a quick shout out. And I did that video this morning of whenever it was when this goes up now, basically thanking him because word has come out officially that his brother did pass away only a few days before the Empoli fixture, I think 4 or 5 days. And due to the state that our club was in, he actually took 2 training sessions off and asked the club to really politely not release that information because he thought it would derail us before our biggest match of the season.
And you know
That's
what?
an act of a gentleman.
Not just that, I think he didn't want that to get announced because he didn't want an excuse.
As sad as that sounds, he's right. He doesn't want the excuse.
Inter didn't make Champions League. Spalletti is the type of a man, and he was that type of player. But he was the type of man who would not use the passing of someone else as an excuse.
Absolutely,
and
bro.
I take my hat off to him, and I do wish him all the best.
All right, time to move into some statistics before we move into some of your comments as well.
Team stats, we'll go straight into it. Now, I'm going to give you what our team stat was, where we ranked in the Serie A against the other teams. So, Inter, we averaged 5.2 shots a game on target, and that ranked us 5th. We had, on average, 482.7 passes, successful passes per match. I think 400 of those were Brozovic, and that ranked us in 2nd. We created 70 big chances over the whole season, and that ranked us in 3rd. But in saying that, we missed 63 of those big chances.
63?
Giving us the ranking of 1st. We created 70 big chances and missed 63.
That's bad.
That's horrendous. That's terrible. Now, we averaged...
Well, actually, before we butt in, we can look at Icardi's statistics, and he's supposed to be our prime goal scorer. I think he finished in single digits, didn't he?
11.
11. Coming off the back of regular 20-plus goal seasons, so...
Oh, look, he was still top goal scorer for our team, and he played, 30 games.
Yeah.
So, look... We averaged 59.7% possession, and I think this statistic, we were ranked 1st in the league for possession, and I think that just shows how much the team has come along.
Yeah. Because
we had games where we were just 50-50 or below last couple of seasons, and we're just starting to learn. It's a holding game. It's a game of possession.
100%.
It was beautiful. Now, we had 17 clean sheets, giving us 1st place in that. We were 1st in possession 1 in the final third, 210 times.
Good.
We scored 1.5 goals per match. We were ranked 6th. Atalanta were 1st.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Juventus, Napoli, there was a couple of teams there, but 1.5 goals per game.
Not too bad.
I'm not going to criticise it, but when you look where we had games 4-0, 5-0, it's not that great. Goals conceded per match, we conceded 0.9 per match. Now, that's pretty good. We were second in the league for that. I think Napoli was first, or Juventus. Penalties awarded. We were awarded 9 penalties.
We got 9 penalties this season.
We were second in that front.
Clearer. I'm pretty sure the rule says if your back is to goal, the ref has a decision to not blow for the penalty because it doesn't necessarily present a goal scoring opportunity. Now, if that is true, Lautaro's penalty against Rapid, that's not a penalty. Politano's penalty in the derby, that's not a penalty either. Even though the challenge on Politano, there's contact there.
No, but that would have been a penalty because it's a free kick in the box.
But his leg is literally almost halfway outside the box and he's running away. That Politano penalty, man. I would still give it because the contact's there, but
I'd still give it because it's Inter. Inter. Successful tackles per match, 10.8, and that was giving us 4th. Now, I've got our player individual stats.
Go for it.
Top scorer for Inter was Icardi on 11 goals. Yes, a lot lower than his last season, but when you got the likes of a drugged up Quagliarella on the team, Zapata doing things that no one thought Atalanta could do, and Ronaldo, his first season, you can't expect him to be up there, but 11 goals is quite soft, like you did say. I think he was, and he finished 9th in the overall tally.
Look, a couple of those goals are penalties as well, don't forget.
Team was Politano. Now, he only had 6 assists, which placed him in 5th, but when you cross the ball into the box 40 times a match, you're bound to get a couple of assists.
Yeah.
Accurate passes per match was Brozovic with 71, putting him in 1st, and Skriniar on 63.5, putting him in 3rd. I included him because we had 2 Inter players in the top 3. Now, our defender having that many successful passes rather than just belting the ball upfield is beautiful. And Brozovic, the World Cup changed him. He matured so much of a player as a player, and he knows how to hold the ball.
But he's one player you need to give almost all the credit to Spalletti for, because remember, in January 2018, he was almost ready to board a flight to Seville to sign for Sevilla on loan with an option to buy. Spalletti's the one who talked him out of it and then dropped him a little deeper, and he turned into our anchor in midfield.
If we're talking up Brozovic, he ranked 1st in most successful tackles per match.
Yeah.
At 2.2.
Yeah.
Now, the best statistic for Inter, and the piss off dog, the best statistics for Inter, and just what played us so well as a team was number 1 in clean sheets, Handanovic.
Yeah, that's
17 clean sheets out of 38 games.
Skriniar, Handanovic are the reason for those clean sheets.
And the Frey.
And
you can't
forget
the
Frey.
Look, we did get a bit unlucky with injuries. We had Vesalico out early on. Yeah. There was a lot of hype around him with the Croatian connection. Nainggolan out, injured more times than not.
Yeah.
And Icardi, whether the injuries were good or bad, I don't know, but, we're losing some great talents there.
Absolutely.
Moving on.
All
Fan
right.
questions.
We don't want to spend too much time in this because we are conscious of time and we have more material to bring out as well on some other topics, and we'll be sure to get to that at another day. But we're going to move into some of the fan comments based on the season and how well you guys rated the season on so many different platforms. Before I go into the fans, Bruno first. Out of 10.
Out of 10?
Out of 10. It has to be a one round figure.
Inter out of 10. In my eyes,
the season altogether.
6.
6. Player of the season?
It's a tie.
Between?
Honda and Skriniar.
Okay, good call.
What about you? Where do you rank Inter this season performance-wise?
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with a 6, only because achieving that goal was so important that no matter what, just getting to the Champions League deserves the 6. It gets no more than a 6 because of the manner that we had to go about it.
We got too many easy points.
If we were to have locked it down, maybe match day 36, 35, it gets a 7 from me, even with all the drama that goes on. If we locked it up against Roma on match day 33, it gets an 8. It gets better because of all the drama that's going on. We were able to rise above it. But as Inter, we weren't as mentally tough. But we're hoping for some changes in that department next season, and we'll get to that in our next video. Don't you worry.
Player of the season?
Player of the season for me, Handanovic is definitely up there. I don't think we can discount Brozovic from the question because of how important it was. But mate, you can't go past Milan Skriniar. This guy is the best young centre-back in the world.
Didn't he just sign the new contract?
He did. I would rank him in the top 3 centre-backs in the world at the moment. Who's better besides Koulibaly and Virgil van Dijk? Who's better?
Even Van Dijk. Look, I think...
Who's better?
Icardi needs to take a page out of Skriniar's book.
Oh, the way he went about signing that new contract was porn-worthy.
His manager and decided to sign on his own.
Of course. But anyway, before we get too distracted, Edwin from Forza Inter Forums gives it a 5 out of 10. Not that great of a rating. Season went from bad to worse. We barely hit our minimum season's achievement. Player fitness was horrible. I would agree with the last comment on that. Our player fitness did look really bad towards the last 20 minutes of almost every single fixture. I had a few comments in from the boys at Inter Australia. Shout out to the boys Sasha, Noor and Stefan Rossi. 3 very familiar names. Sasha gives it a 6.8. Terribly inconsistent, poor judgment, should have qualified earlier. I think most people will agree with you there, Sash, bro. Noor, my favourite pessimist, he gives it a 4. Most unstable season post Jose Mourinho. Quality was there, but the Icardi saga was the focal point of the collapse, and that ruins it for me. Fair enough, man. Yeah. We appreciate everyone's opinions, and that's valid. Stefan Rossi, shout out to our boy Stefan. 6.5. He goes, the players just lost too many key matches. They lost their head a few times, and we still had to fight tooth and nail until the last day where we shouldn't have. Fair call, man. And the last comment was from Shadi Taleb, and he said 5.5 as well. Predictable. We must be the most boring team to watch. That's what he said.
I don't think we're the most boring.
But we're close.
As an Inter fan, we're the most scared team to watch.
But he uses the word predictable, which is a good word to use there, man.
I just think, look, and all of those comments are very valid. I just feel Spalletti did not make the right substitutes ever. He got some redemption against Empoli, bringing on Balde, taking off Asamoah. But in saying that, he did not make the best substitute. So yes, we looked fatigued. Yes, we looked out of form, and yes, we looked predictable. But what can you do?
What can you do? Well, look, guys, that's all we're going to leave it for the season review. The campaign 2018-19 has come to an end. We finished 4th. Where did we finish last season?
4th.
Oh my God. Where are we going to finish next season, Bruno?
Hopefully we're not Arsenal and just finish 4th all the time.
That's not going to happen, man. We're going to lock up UCL qualification nice and early next season. And we're going to be right up those Ladri asses, man. Mark my word.
And look, guys, yes, the season might be over, but us here at Inter Worldwide take no breaks. So we will be bringing you content in the off-season, some exclusives, transfer news, historical reviews, but we don't stop for you guys because you know what? The world game never stops.
Forza Inter.
Forza Inter, Forza Champions League, and ciao.
Ciao. Beautiful. Well done, Bruno.